Alright, so let's start with Hellboy. The only change to Hellboy is the two things. One is the meter build on some of his special moves has been toned down. So if he does his leap or he shoots his gun, he will build slightly less meter. And then Design actually redid his stats, which you can talk about.
His base stats are more in line with Darkseid, so he will do a little bit less damage, and he'll take a little bit more damage percentage-wise. So it makes him a little bit more of like an offensive brute, and still lets you keep the same like Hellboy playstyle he had before. It's just there's a little bit more risk in it.
Right, and this does not mean that his combo damage is going to be... Hellboy now does 15% combos. Like, that's a huge bummer. This is more of a...
Yeah, we're like, our combos are generally, like, our number of notations are, like, some combos do, like, 438. Now it's going to do, like, 10 less. And it varies depending on what enters you use, what special moves you use. And that'll sort of let people, like, figure out what's their optimal combos and what do they want to end up with.
Cool. So with Sub-Zero, we actually gave him a couple of buffs. One of them is his Jump 2. Has a slightly better hitbox.
Can we take a look at him actually? Because we were in your office earlier taking a look at him, and there's some stuff that I think just looked better and different. You know what I mean?
Oh, are we in two-player?
We sure are. Go back to us here, Bert. Well, let me get this all set up. Sorry, my bad. Oh,
Wait.
you do it. You do it.
He's a pro smoke master.
He is really good at it.
Sub-Zero.
So Sub-Zero is getting some changes.
His Jump 2 is a little bit better.
And also the way he repels against the characters has been adjusted a little bit, so it should make it easier to land it on cross-ups, where before it was almost, you had a very specific scenarios to hit on cross-up. You should now be able to cross-up Jump 2 a lot easier, so that'll let him in situations where you can freeze an opponent and decide not to combo and go for a cross-up, stuff like that.
This string is now safe on block, and then, in my opinion, one of the bigger ones is his Ice Blast has slightly faster start.
Yeah, and because the regular one has slightly faster startup, the meter burn one will then have faster startup also. So it lets you do some cancels in the regular ice ball strings that didn't come out before, where you had a meter burn it, where those will not work. So it'll let you commit to like strings a little bit better, and also lets you hide behind your clone and just chuck ice balls, where that being a little bit faster, it'll let them go up against other characters that are shooting projectiles back. They hate the ice clone. He has now a better chance to being able to at least projectile back.
So while we're here, we'll talk about Vic Stone, Lord Cyborg. Why is that his name?
The Lord part.
He is.
Okay. All right.
Can you hack the world? Because he can.
I cannot.
Anyway, his character power, the air drone, now actually has significantly less recovery. He does it much faster. It's harder to hit him out, and you can see the reaction change. He now pops you up, and he's going to get a much bigger combo. It's much easier to combo, and the combos are bigger. You can kind of talk about some of the ideas you had for setups.
Yeah, and because the recovery gun is a little bit faster, it lets you end some combos a little bit earlier, so you could have ended a combo in like 1-1-3, canceling their character power, and now they won't be able to punish you right away with a quick wake-up attack, and they'll have to sort of figure out a way to get around that and become projectile. And that gives Cyborg a way to get in or get back to his like zoning style if you want to play that way. So it just gives you the ability to use his character power in more situations than you could have before.
All right, so then we are going to talk about who would be next.
Let's look at the screen.
Oh, look at that, Catwoman.
Okay.
Catwoman.
So with Catwoman, we wanted to normalize three aspects. One is she did a lot of meterless damage, like some of the best in the game, and she had multiple strings that would do meterless damage. So we've adjusted those. For some of them, we increased the scaling. So she still does the exact same combo she always does, but a little less. For this one, 3-3 back 2, we actually changed the reaction. She doesn't get a pop-up at all. So it's still an overhead. It's still a great staggering move, but...
Yeah, and the last hit of that is safe on block. So if you're going to go for the high version of it, that one will be safe. But if you go for the overhead, it's not. But you can cancel the high one. So it gives that stagger string a little bit more of a sort of branching purpose as opposed to just a one-way. You just always went for the stagger and went for the combo, where you'll sort of like mix in other strings.
And the high one is now a true high, and when you're blocking, you're not jailed, so you can actually punish it, which, as Paulo said, brings up the branch of doing the back two.
Yeah, doing the overhead. And you can still always just cancel into a cat dash and then meter burn a cat dash. So the combo opportunities are there if you can hit confirmer.
Right.
Report just in.
She's ruinated?
Welp, she's dead.
She's dead?
You killed her.
Off of one button?
Yeah.
You still got two other buttons.
Fortunately, cats have 9 lives,
There we
so
go.
now she has 8, but we're going to kill a couple more.
Let's do it.
All right, so we've also slightly adjusted her back 3 in 2 different ways. It is slightly slower, and it has slightly less range.
Yeah, it's a few frames slower on startup, so now it's more in line with the other back threes. She actually had the second fastest in the game, so now hers is more in line with the rest of the cast. That'll help in situations where she was able to just sort of just throw it out there at whim. Now there's a better chance of doing a double hit string that's going to hit her out of it. And it did advance a little bit further just in general, so it does go a little bit less now.
Right. Before, when she would go down like this, she would actually, as soon as you let it go, she would advance just a little bit, and we've cut that, so the range is slightly less. Still, I mean, it's awesome range. Like, this is a great move. You cannot go wrong doing this, but you're going to have to think about using it slightly more. And one more change, her 142 is awesome. It's a multi-hitting, super fast overhead that splats them for 600 years, and it was plus on block. It is now slightly negative on
Same
block.
negative block. It's still safe, but it's not something where you do that and then your opponent literally has to just wait for you to either do your down one or your character power or just throw them. So there's a little bit more of a, this is still a very good string, but it's not the predominant string you always want to be using.
Right. She's also now going to recover much closer to you. Before, she was in a position where she's like, I'm in my down one range, hold that. Now she's going to be -3 and right next to you, so she's going to hold, like, in this match, she would be holding his back 3. Or back 1, I mean.
Which is pretty good.
His back 1 is a good move.
Rumor has it.
Yeah. So, while we're here, we can talk about Hal Jordan.
So six lives.
Yeah, she's to 6 lives, which
We're
still
fine.
makes
Yeah,
her
it's still pretty
a
fine.
great character, yeah. With Green Lantern, we wanted to look at his damage. It was very, very low, and I think that made sense when the game came out for how versatile he is, but we decided to tone it up just a little bit by adjusting some of the scaling.
Yeah, it's mainly just combo damage scaling has been adjusted on several of the moves. The properties of them haven't changed, but it's just generally you'll hit harder than you did before. And then because of that, it leads into his like very good mix-up game and is just like slightly good anti-zoning game, being a little bit more effective just because you're doing more damage.
And that's scaling on like 3 different moves, I think.
Yeah. It's his main combo extenders and combo starters.
The other change is to his Lantern Bomb. Previously, the meter burn one was safe but negative, and the regular one was punishable. That is not the case. Now the regular one is safe, and the meter burn one is actually plus on block.
Yeah, there's still a pretty good gap at the beginning of it. So there are strings where if you're going into it, people are going to be able to see you're doing it and then meter burn back 3 or backdash out of there. But they sort of have to read that it's coming or be able to identify that it's coming.
Right. So previously with this pressure, it's if you thought it was coming, you could blow them up. If you didn't and you blocked it on accident, you could blow them up. Now it's you got to know it's coming, and you got to make the guess that he's going to do it, and then you can blow him up.
Cool. People seem really happy about that one.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that's a really cool change for his pressure.
Awesome. Because he doesn't have 9 lives.
No, he does not. He does have a willpower ring, the will to be top tier, and that's now powered him up. All right, so let's talk about Lord Grodd, Lord of Apes. That's actually canon. That's in the game. It says Lord of Apes, so you can't criticize him for that.
Gorilla Grodd.
I can literally criticize you for whatever I want.
That's just lore in the game.
You're right.
So with Gorilla Grodd, we essentially we wanted to make his cancels a little bit easier to do. So design kind of changed the way you do them.
Yeah, you can still do them the old way of as the middle of doing a stampede, you can hit back, or forward to cancel out of it. But now you can also hit the flip stance button or 2 and 3 together to cancel out of the stampedes. So that'll let you if you're playing on an arcade stick or if you can hit your triggers really fast. It gives you a different way to cancel. That's not as execution heavy, but the frames are still the same, so it's not as like overbearing as doing it. But now we should be able to do that. And it'll open up his combos a little bit more, where he had very hard cancel combos. That should
Look
be
at that.
a little
So
bit more
easy a
accessible.
monkey can do it. We've also adjusted some of the normals. So his 2-2-3 previously had a gap in all 3 hits. Now the gap's only in the 3rd hit. So 2-2 does no gap. And 2-2-3 by itself is now actually safe on block. We also adjusted his mind control to be slightly faster, which means now this actually combos.
Yeah, so he'll be able to he's got a very good down one, so he'll be able to use his down one if he's in character power into the mind control and then meter burn that and then go into his big damage combos.
Yeah, so overall, there is a change to his back 2. That's now neutral instead of plus, and that's because now the cancels are easier to do.
Yeah, essentially he had very good pressure strings off that back 2, where you can still it's still essentially the same feeling string, but because most humans couldn't actually do it that fast. But now because it's easier to do, you can actually cancel it on the very first frame. So because of that, the block cancel advantage in that string has been adjusted.
In summary, huge buff for humans, huge nerf for very hard AI Gorilla Grodd.
Yep.
We're always looking at that.
Right.
We don't want AI to go into a tournament.
Well, I
and win.
maintain that very hard AI could get out of pools.
Poison
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
Starfire. Fighters approaching Atlantis.
So Ivy actually got an addition to the new move we added in the last balance patch. This improves her wake up game. We're about to see it. She gets a meter burn, bitey and chompy. What is it called? Bitey and chompy blast. I don't remember. Either way, she can meter burn it, and she does this dashing kick. This move is plus on block, but it has a gap. So if the opponent knows you're going to do it, they can interrupt it, and if not, and you do pressure string into it or you wake up into it, you're actually going to be plus.
Yeah, so it gives her a little bit better of a way to wake up now, and she can also just throw that move out to try to pressure back at the opponent.
She also got a couple of quality of life changes. Her down one has been improved, the hitbox is better. Previously, if the opponent was super close and she tried to interrupt, her down one would sometimes only hit like far away and it wouldn't hit up close and it would actually whiff. That's been adjusted. The meter burn vine move has been adjusted to not have as big of a gap until like the last hit. Like some of the middle parts have been cleaned up.
Yeah, it was slightly variable where the gap would be pretty varied on different characters. Now it's been adjusted a little bit, so it should be more even across the board. You can still do it back to back, but if you do it back to back, the opponent can then backdash out of the next one and stuff like that.
And I'm very excited for this. We have adjusted the ground vines. They now do significantly more damage. And they actually turn on bad jumping, which means if you have it on and you're in the vines, if you try to jump out, Starfire will take like a pretty decent amount of damage.
Yeah, so it'll give you some options too. If you got an opponent cornered, you can end the combo early in a juggle state, get that on the ground, and then your opponent now is to take some damage to jump out of your command grab setups.
And you can see right there, that's the final damage that it used to do. So it's not tremendous damage. You're not going to take someone's entire life bar, but it's real damage now. They actually will have to be like, I got to get out of this. Whereas before, it's like, cool, this is comfy.
Yeah, and on top of that, she'll be doing, because she has multiple hit block strings, so she'll be doing those into like the vine swing move and other things, and because you're forced to block those, you're going to be taking that full damage a lot of the time.
Exactly, because you can't just jump out. So with Starfire, her zoning is awesome. It's some of the best in the game, in my opinion. But her mid-range game was not the greatest, so we wanted to bring that up just a little bit, so if she cannot zone in a matchup, she has a better mid-range. So to that end, we've actually buffed her walk speed, in particular her forward walk. Both, but her forward walk speed, you can see. It feels, if you play her every day, you're going to feel it immediately.
Yeah.
We've also adjusted, we've looked at her forward 2-2. There's been a lot of talk, oh, like it's not good enough, it's not good enough. Well, it's not mid, it's still a high, but the second hit does a little bit more damage, and she can actually do the grab part on block or whiff. So, what that means is, if the opponent is just stand blocking all the time because it's an overhead, you can commit to the grab and toss them aside.
Yeah.
Now, this is a high-risk option. This is not meant to be like Superman's 4-2-3. Like, if they read the grab and they duck it, she's going to recover for like 10,000 years. Like, she could fly back to Tamaran in the time it takes for that to
Yeah, and it's
recover.
a high grab. It's not a mid grab.
Right.
So you have to duck it, but then if they duck it, you can do the overhead.
Exactly, which now does a little bit more damage. So it's going to open up her 4-2 game a little bit without being like this godlike footsie tool. The other thing is that she can now down one background bounce, which she could not do after about 3 weeks after she came out. So either way, that was changed. She still cannot do down one into this, but she can do background bounce if she's near a background bounce thing. This change also applies, we'll talk about it later, to Darkseid and Raiden.
Lord Raiden.
Yeah, that's, again, and,
you know what?
and Darkseid.
Sure.
We got some lords here.
Sure.
So, yeah, those characters, all three characters now can do a down one background bounce.
Cool.
All right, and next will be Supergirl. I think everyone's excited about this one.
I think we gave her some really nice buffs.
Yeah.
Aquaman. Fighters approaching Gotham City.
Maybe with the buffs we're about to get her, she can actually finally win a tournament.
Heard that.
I'm just kidding. She won a CR. Everyone calm down. All right, so with Supergirl, we wanted to adjust her down one. And to do that, we have made it slightly slower. She now has a 9-frame down one. Ruinated. Oh my god, ruinated. Yeah, she's dead.
I'm looking.
All right, yeah. So,
We're on like a 30-second delay, so we'll see in a second.
all right, now, she still has a super fast down 2. So if you're up close and you're doing a poke battle, you can still use down 2. 9 frames is not the end of the world, but in the mid-range, this is going to be a little bit less weaker. It's still obviously huge range. It's going to go under stuff. It's going to be great, but it'll be a little bit slower.
Yeah, it's still a very good tool to low-profile things that are incoming. When you can see them coming, it's just not as fast as it used to be. So now there's a little bit more of a risk to just throwing out down one, and going into breath. It also gives like her stand one into like 1-1 up 3, a little bit more of something you can use in punish situations where the down one will no longer punish now.
Yeah. Another change to her is we looked at her walking laser character power. And previously, this was like what I call a why not move, where if you have full character power, there's no reason not to do this. It does a lot of damage on hit. It is good chip damage. So one thing we did is it now actually takes a bar of super meter use as well. So you're going to use more resources. It remains a tremendous move that you can't go wrong using, but at like end of round, end of game scenarios where you just want to chip them out, you just want to throw it out and hope you win for free, you're now actually thinking about your super meter as well. So you're going to have less for Clash, less for meter burn teleport, less for meter burn back 3, less for meter burn breath if you're using this every single time.
So less meter for meter burn moves.
Yes. Well, previously it wasn't a meter burn move.
I know.
There was also a change to her 1-1-2, which you can explain.
Yeah, initially that move had a very strange block stun, and you were left really close to the opponent. And now the block stun is more in line with how it should feel. So the frames in it are about the same. It's slightly. I believe it was like +3, now it's +2, so it's slightly more negative. But it's more about just the feeling of it isn't as strange, where she's just like inside of your character, and now you got to guess whether or not she's going to do down one or meter burn back.
Yeah, you can see here she's not. She's always right there. She's not like sliding into them. And her straight laser is no longer plus on the block. The other lasers are not affected. It's just the straight.
It's just a straight laser.
Right. So let's go to Aquaman, who's rising from the depths. He's back. He was drowning. And now he's back. Was that too much?
Yes.
That was just the right amount?
So his regular scoop, in the previous version of the game, it would knock you away, where now the regular scoop will knock you over, so you can use that to switch sides of combos. And then the meter burn one does a different reaction now. That makes it a little bit easier to combo afterwards, and it does open up his combos into varying things you can do for different enders. It should give you a little bit more of like ways to just do whatever combos you want to do, as opposed to just there just being one combo that's the most effective combo that someone you can do.
What if you can't do any combo?
Your back threes have been pretty bad today.
Just do stand 3 into down back 2. That's it.
Also, the big thing here too is he doesn't have to do the down 2 anymore, and down 2's add a ton of damage scaling. So this is going to up his damage potential a little bit. He still is not going to got a combo off this. He's not going to be this. He hits this and he gets 30%. But this will help his combos if he makes a right read on a jump in, or if he doesn't punish.
Yeah, and it's something that's still very unsafe on block. So it's something where you have to be very good at hit confirming, or you can throw it out there when you're going to just risk whether or not it's going to hit.
Cool. Excellent. So we got some Aquaman getting a little help.
Yeah. Then we are going to talk about Black Adam. We'll just talk about him.
Okay.
The only thing we wanted to change about Black Adam was his character power pressure. So the change is there are 3 more frames of recovery if he's not using it in a combo. You can kind of explain how that works.
Yeah, so if you just threw it out there, it was a move that recovered very, very fast. Well, now, because of those extra frames there, you might have a more advantage to sort of sneak in and get in a hit on him when he's trying just to activate character power on wake up, which I've seen a lot of people do when people are in front of him. You just throw it out there, and he's essentially safe on block. Where now, because of those extra frames, you might get a punish there. And that was also a lot of his strings. He would end up at very advantageous pressure when he canceled into it. Now, when you're canceling into those, you're going to have less frames on the block.
Right. For example, forward 1-2 character power is +6 in the version you guys are playing now. Will now be +3. So all those have been bumped out. They're still going to be good. He's still going to get pressure, but it's not as overwhelming. And to be clear, on hit, if he hits forward 1 and he goes into character power on hit, it behaves exactly the same.
So your combos are essentially the same. And a couple of his strings, like his 1-1-3, has had just the cancel advantage on the change. So if you're going 1-1-3 into character power now, it's not going to have the tremendous block advantage it had before, where it's going to have less now.
Right. It's still plus, so he's not ruinated. He did not say Shazam and turn to an old man and wither away and die. He said Shazam and lost 5% of his power. So everyone relax. You look tense right there, like you were just nervous.
People seem really relaxed.
Okay. All right. So then we're going to talk about Bane. With Bane, the mercenary's elbow is now less punishable.
Yeah, it's not something where the move is now safe. It's just it has a little bit better recovery, so you can sort of, if you throw it out and the opponent's doing a delayed wake up, you get up a little bit quicker from it. So there's less of a chance your opponent just getting up and then smacking you with the hard hitting your combo or back 3. it recovers a little bit faster, and also recovers a little bit faster on block. And because he rolls away, it makes it where you sort of have to know your punishes. You're not just going to be able to throw whatever and punish it.
Right, like you're not going to be able to sit there, see that it's blocked, get a soda, and then do like a back three. You're going to have character-specific punishes.
He lays there for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of his strings, like his forward one, will now always knock you down on both grounded and airborne opponents, where previously it only knocked down air opponents. And because that button is it's actually +7 on block, you can sort of throw it out there, and if it hits your opponent, they're going to be knocked down now, and they have to get up into the essentially the Bane mixer.
And finally, we'll talk. Is that churning butter?
That's the Bane mixer.
He's mixing.
I don't think Bane would churn butter.
He's actually a world-renowned baker.
Oh, all right. Well,
Lore Minute.
would you like to try my pie? Anyway, we're gonna go to Raiden.
Your impressions today are top-notch.
Thank you.
Oh, let's go Raiden.
All right, so Raiden, the biggest change in my opinion, what I'm excited about is his shocker is now safe on block, which is huge. He can now into block string into a safe shocker. Down one shocker is now safe. So Raiden is already a high damaging character. That's definitely his best character trait. Now, if he wants to do a damaging combo, he doesn't commit to something unsafe. There's also been a couple changes the design made to some of his strings.
Yeah, so some of his strings, like his 2-1 down 3, will push your opponent away a little bit less on hit. So it lets you confirm into multiple things you couldn't before, like his down back 2 meter burn will now always hit instead of missing on some characters. And it also lets you do 2-1 down 3 bounce cancel, which will lead to big boy damage.
Big boy damage.
Godlike damage.
Yeah.
I like big boy.
And then
Shrugs.
because of those rating improvements, you might see more Kid Thunders out there on the internet.
That's true.
Oh, Kid Thunder, huh? What? How we doing on? Is that?
That's it.